Hi guys, welcome back. Those of you who are new, welcome. If you're wanting to make a booking, you can go to the link directly below. Hopefully it's there, otherwise it will be after the recording. Now, I wanted to do a new moon video. If you're not aware of what is happening with the planets, you should be, because it is going to directly affect you all the way through to 2020. So with the brief kind of information I give you as per the relevance of what I feel is relevant, please do actually research the aspects of astrology, because it will directly impact you through to 2020. Now, the reason I'm saying that, there's some planets that are going to be they're sort of trying to push us, and especially Saturn. Now, Saturn's going to be very relevant for us through to that point. A lot of what we're directly dealing with, especially connected to the new moon, there is going to be heightened anticipation. And if you go through and you listen to the Leo King, it's quite strange, because when I listened to it this morning, it was exactly how I'd been feeling intuitively. Hello, everyone. I'm not too bad. So the download being, we're going to a place where we're having a realization where we fit and where we don't. And I feel really heightened it has been this week, where we're seeing the juxtaposition between where we do and where we don't fit. So we're gaining that mass clarity connected to that. And it's kind of like, wow, you know, it does really feel that. It feels, hi Fem Coach, it feels very odd. It's like we know who we are, but we're questioning who we are. And when I'm saying that, it's like, is it okay to be me? So we're going through all those paradigms of, wow, we've really done a 360. We've seen and displayed the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's strange because generally the moon phases don't affect me. That's because my rising sign's Cancer. But I have found probably in the last, probably 4 months, the frequency of the moon has been heightened, and especially this one. And if you do listen to the Leo King, he does explain that this one's quite an important one. And when I started researching into the aspects of astrology, this time frame was very much the time frame that I felt that karmic cycles were ending for us. And a lot of times, especially for those of you who aren't twins, we tend to look at this and we go, how does that directly relate to me? Well, it's collective energy regardless, so it is going to directly impact you, you know, within your relationship. So anything happening connected to twins is also collective energy, so it is going to directly impact you. So you're still going to gain value from the mindsets, the aspects of how we are directly looking at things. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because the paradigms connected to relationships as a whole is really transforming. And I think one could say the frequency of that regardless. So when we're looking at the aspects of relationships, it has been from the old paradigms of connections, and we're really sitting back and realizing that we very much have evolved. Now, it is, so to speak, going to be a balancing of those frequencies. So because we've really exposed who we are to the core, gone through those core wounds, had these epiphany moments and realizations, the way we're interconnecting with spouses, connections, relationships, it's all very much evolving and transforming. A lot of the times when we've gone through the stages of mirroring, we've also looked at that and gone, wow, you know, I can directly understand, you know, why this person is acting, expressing, feeling, you know, those dynamics. And it's giving us this mirroring effect, and that's very much, again, happening collectively. So when these things are happening, it's like we're having the polar opposite. So we may have done something to a person and then it's done a 360 and it's directly happened to us. So we can learn and purge that cycle. This new moon's going to be very relevant for us in our Venus house. The reason I'm saying that is because it's going to affect the next 30 years. So for many people in their romance house, You know, I feel it's quite strange, especially when I did listen to the Leo King, because that's really the energy of what I felt that was coming through, especially people, you know, in their life where they've come to that T section in the road and they're saying, what do I want out of my relationships? It has this frequency of, am I going to make the wrong decision? You know, what is the right decision? What fits correct for me? Gosh, I have to make this decision right now. A heavy frequency on the collective where it's like you need to make a decision right now. Yet we all are very well aware, when we have actually listened to astrology, that, you know, these processes, especially in a Venus retrograde, it's like, don't make your call, don't make a decision. It'll look like candy floss, and then it'll be like, yeah, I'm really not sure, I'm not buying what you're selling. So that's the real hard part, is that this is a massive decision we're going to be making romantically, and it's connected to your health and what directly sits with you, not judging the other person, you know, really getting to the bare basics and accepting yourself for the good, the bad, and the ugly, and saying, okay, what do I have to offer? Have I done my work? Am I accepting of myself, and what am I actually looking for? What fits for me? The thing is, with this decision that we're making, for those of us who are at that T section in the road, even if you are within a relationship, the way in which you're navigating that relationship and moving forward is going to affect the next 30 years of your life. So for those of us who are in the older generation, so to speak, the energy is heavier yet again. Yet we're asking ourselves to almost just stay in this moment, because it's the only thing really that's keeping us grounded at this point in time. So it can be that you get these trigger points and you're going, gosh, I just don't know. And then coming back to the now just to get yourselves grounded. So it's one of those real psychotic kind of frequencies that we're going through. And I've even noticed here in Australia, just in the last week, with the frequencies, the emails, the bookings I've had, you know, the strange occurrences with agitation have increased, and it's just looking around, it's hearing the police you know, reports on the news. Not that I listen to a lot of news, but when I have heard it through the grapevine, you know, it has not been good. So, you know, people's agitation is really amped right now, and the moon energy is extremely strong. This is going to be a very, very strong energy. Some of you may be purging at a very, very high frequency, depending on how you're dealing with these ebbs and flows of this transformation. So some people are nonchalant as well. So, but it is going to affect the next 6 months. It is a transition again through to the Lion's Gate portal, and I was feeling the frequency of it being similar to a lunar eclipse. There is an anticipation that something's coming, and many people that are empaths can actually sense and feel that energy. So collectively, I feel we're going to be getting these downloads. Now, I'm going to pull some cards for each element in the fire signs, and I'm going to go through and do separate videos for each element for the new moon and what's to come, and how we can directly look at this situation. It may simply be a frequency of what's coming through for your zodiac sign, or merely advice to handle the situation, but I will be pulling advice cards for each one. How are we anyway? Okay, we'll do Aries first, if I can shuffle the cards. Oops. Okay, Leo. Hi, Giggle. Are you in the car? We're white lighting Shelley for all her good luck today. We're all persevering through, aren't we? Okay, Aries, what do you guys have coming up? Okay, you're very nostalgic at the moment, and it can be that you're almost like, oh, you know, what do I want? Am I reminiscing over the past? Am I bored with my current situation? You know, what do I need to do? This is really highlighting, you know, at the moment, how do I put it? It's like you are reflective back to the past. You're trying to get grounded. Now, this could be connected to an air or an earth sign. You are using the elements of 4 to bring everything together, and it can be, you know, what you've left behind. There is a frequency also of a passed over person who is guiding you at the moment. I feel some of you are really isolated, and it might just be the frequency within you where you're feeling that you need to isolate yourself in order to meditate upon what you're actually passionate about and what you want. And you know that what you've been doing in 3D it just hasn't been fitting your purpose and your needs. So you know something's got to change. Hi, Stefan. You know something's got to change. You're really meditating on how to do that. Now, the boredom factor, you feel that energy of you're going to do something to change that. And you directly have faith that this has to change, like, you know, and whatever road you're choosing to go down, you're going to be extremely passionate, connected to it. And it is you wanting to take a connection to the next level, but what you had previously been doing has hit a stalemate, and you really can't keep doing it the way it was. Okay, you do feel in limbo in some shape or form, but you're well aware that you've got to let something go, and it can just be that old frequency. And again, for some of you, it could be connected to a passed over loved one. Now, there is the energy of a water sign around Aries as well. So I'm seeing earth, air, and fire. Also, there could be a Libran directly connected to the Zodiac sign. There is scales involved here. So they're weighing up situations and really working out what to do. I do see late nights for this group of Aries where they're staying up quite late and really meditating on things. I do see legalities connected to situations where you're trying to tie up loose ends as well. There is finances directly involved, and there's really this mirroring effect going on. I feel water is going to be directly relevant for you guys. It may be that you need to do water therapy to actually meditate. It might be a home directly connected to water that is relevant for you, that you're going to retreat and you need to go to this location for some of you. But it feels so, it's just absolute still, great reflection going on. You're really aware of the investments that you made and where they were poor. And it's directly impacting you. Like, it's a very, very, very deep reflective energy. This time out that you're giving yourself during this full moon is really going to give you a lot of downloads connected to what to do from here. It's like a mass download I'm seeing. I wouldn't be surprised if any group of the Aries are going to have this like enlightened moment. In the dream state where you have loved ones who have passed over actually enter into your dream state. And when that's happening, it's almost like you have this light bulb moment and everything completely makes sense. I do feel like an electric energy coming through you with your chakras. And for some of you, you can actually feel, how do I put it? It feels like electricity in your skin. It's like some sense of an awakening, some change. Connected to an ending, like, you know, what you need to leave behind, what you need to move forward with. And again, I see finances being very, very relevant in getting a plan off the ground and trying to move forward. But this time out's going to give you the clarity connected to it. So I'd strongly suggest for you guys to actually meditate. But anything that your intuition is telling you, I'm being shown that it's very important, and it's going to give you some guidance into what to do from here. But I do see contracts and legalities. Look, you're wanting to really have somebody extremely mature in your life. And if you feel that a person of the past was immature, You know, some of you, I feel two frequencies, two energies. It may be for some of you, you directly years ago dealt with someone and that was the block, and then it was another person that you dealt with that almost mirrored that person, and some of you might have even been confused about who the spiritual connection was with, but you keep coming back to the same person, so to speak. So you do know who the spiritual connection's with, but there was at a point of time confusion, and it may have resurfaced again for some of you who this is relevant for. But it's like you're really taking this mature stance with situations and you really don't have time for that immaturity. Some of you may be dealing with a child who is now grown, and you know, dealing with them at a different level. And again, it can be legalities connected to employment, you know, looking at it and really weighing up the pros and cons. Do you want to do the work in this situation? I mean, Venus, you know, in retrograde, moving into the 5th, that the energy of it's already here. It's just amping up a notch moving into October, and definitely by the 7th, as I mentioned in the other videos, you know, a lot of that energy is really tying up those old karmic cycles. So it's the anticipation of this. It's almost like making a decision without having all the information there, but it's almost like we've been put in the naughty corner to physically really meditate on, hey, regardless of having the information, can we actually intuitively feel what we want, not what another person wants? I mean, you can clearly decide what you're physically wanting to do. It doesn't really matter what, how do I put it? And it sounds terrible. It's like, if you know that that's what you want, nothing else really matters, because whether you do or don't get it, the reality at that point in time is that's what it is that you want. And so it is a commitment, so to speak, with or without the 3D person, you know, in your domain. So it's accepting that and owning that, and whatever it is, your work, your love life, you know, anything you're passionate about, really own it and get to a point that you feel comfortable with it. If you're not going to feel comfortable with it, you know, this shadow period of Venus moving into retrograde is really going to give you the clarity of that. So take it as a blessing, even if it is going to feel really yucky, because it is ultimately going to give you the clarity and the closure in order to make those 360 decisions where you can go, okay, I have that clarity and that download. But if you don't know how you feel, it doesn't mean any difference what they're doing, because you don't know how you feel. You know, to be able to move through that, regardless of their frequency and what they're doing, if you're in your truth, that's going to be adequate. So I'll leave it at that for Aries, and we'll move on to Leo. Now, Leo, you guys are super worried about finances at the moment, and it's almost like in some shape or form, I feel you guys are selling yourselves short. You're really concerned about money, and you're needing to come back into yourself at the moment. Now, it might not be money completely for all of you. You know, this is a very general reading. Some of you, it can be where you've invested. It may be that aspect of the spirituality where you've invested. It doesn't have to be the financial aspects. And again, I'm an intuitive, so the way I get my downloads and visions is it's not just from the cards. So the feeling I'm getting is you're looking at something, it just doesn't make complete sense. You're also needing to look at contracts extremely carefully. A lot of us at the moment have so many things going on that physically it's to the point we're becoming forgetful. Hi, Joyce. You're also having to recover. I mean, whatever has happened is going to be a shock, and it might be some information coming in and you're still trying to get that download completely and absorb the information. Some of you might actually get communication and it's really giving you an like, oh, wow, you know, I thought I would react in a different way to how I have. And it doesn't have to be connected to a loved one. It can be something completely different, but it's taking you somehow off guard. It's like something's not adding up. The bigger picture, the plan is just not adding up. You've got 3 ideas in your mind, and what you're seeing on paper, and this might even be connected to a person, you thought you knew what it was and you were juggling ideas in your mind, and then what you've got on in the 3D is so not what you were thinking it was. And you've got the map in front of you and you're looking at it going, this look, X, Y, and Z just does not add up. I'm missing something, I'm missing an aspect, and you're getting your compass out and you're like, right, I really have to re-navigate. This is just not working. You're bored with the situation as well. It's like something's become old, but you're so in your head at the moment that it's like strange. Okay, this, I'll just say it, it's like you don't have time for love. Because everything's a mess right now. So it's like you want love, but you're so consumed by a 3D situation right now and some dynamic that's transpiring that physically you're looking at it going, I want time for love, but unless I tie these situations up, this is going to make for complications. And you're really having to recruit. Now, some of you might actually be getting animal totems that are giving you signs and synchronicities. And again, you guys do have a loved one who's passed over, but you really need to white light yourselves, because I do feel a very heavy energy. And it is a great deal of fatigue. It's like keeping up face, trying to keep things, keep on top of things. And there's this very, it might be your room. I sort of feel it's your room because there's a very dark energy. It's not you're in danger. It's just, it's tiring. So the frequency within the room, I feel, is really lagging on you. And it can be sort of like emotional vampires around you where they're needing upon you for petty little things. And it's just too much. It's like, just stop. And I mean, look, even myself, people's agitation and, a lot of phone calls, obviously being an empath, you get that regardless, but I have noticed people's frequencies change, probably in the last month, moving into the retrograde. Now, for you guys, Leo, you're really going inside yourself. Something has taken you back and you're like, look, I've really got to think about this. I need to shine some light on this whole situation. And you're very fatigued and overwhelmed by everything that's happening. You're overcoming, how do I put it? You're overcoming the temptation to bury the issue because you physically can see that it's got to a point, it's irreparable. So certain things have to be addressed. Certain things you're looking at very critically and very harshly. And you're having an aha moment. It is an aspect of taking your power back. You very much are needing to take your power back in a 3D situation. Because there you go, it's taken your power away. It really has. It's like taking your hand off the steering wheel. And it might be something, how do I put it? It's not that you've done it intentionally. Some things are out of your power, and it's like, I've got to work out how to get this ball back in my court because we're in damage control. So it's like, I need to steer this course correctly so that I can get back on track. That's how it's feeling. Okay, something isn't working. It's not, you knew it was coming, like these frequencies, situations on the 3D, you knew it was coming. It's almost like somebody or something was sidetracking you. And you're going, look, I've got this 3D situation going on here right now. Better roses be it, but I've got this 3D situation going on here. And I think we need to get our head, back here to deal with it. And it's like you're pulling it in. You're like, no, I need to fix this. This has got to. And it may be that some of you are looking at a partnership very critically and saying, how did I get myself in this mess? And I don't feel I feel this is very separate to a connection. So this can be two things. It's physically absolutely nothing to do with a relationship. And it's very much in order for you to be grounded for that. It is the aspect of finances or you being abundant inside so that you can give. It can be almost like you are physically connected, addicted, absorbed by this frequency with this person. It's not, you're trying to get it into a balance so that you can have your whole world as, a whole. You're trying to be very earthbound connected to it. I'll leave it at that for Leo. Sagittarius. You guys are super agitated at the moment. It's like frustrated to the max. Crosswise, some of you don't even know why you feel so agitated. Some of you are displaying it, others of you aren't, but inside this is how you are in ebbs and flows feeling. You don't feel that people understand how you're feeling. And some things it's like you're very meticulous with the way you do things. It's an attitude coming from a particular person or a particular group that's really irking you. You guys are overdue for a holiday. Somebody's really ticked you off though. Somebody has really ticked you off and you're just like, enough is enough. Like, so it's like you've gone into lockdown mode. You're seeing red, you've made a decision. And it's not a final decision. It's a decision connected to how you're feeling at that point in time. Now, for some of you, this can be a fire energy you're directly dealing with. It can be a Leo. I'm seeing all the signs really, just in a download, I'm seeing all the signs, but it's like someone has said or done something and it's caused crosswise, so it's put you up in your head. You do have the strength, however. It can be connected to, you know, your workplace. Sorry, love, I can't at the moment because I'm tuning in. I'll read it in a minute. There's somebody in particular who knows how to handle your energy, and some of you are actually tuned into two individuals. So you're up in your head about it, and it can be an old energy and just processing it and purging it. Another one can be a current partner, and that's a particular group of you. But it's definitely love is on your mind, you know, and really kind of deciphering what you spiritually feel is a grounded connection, what you feel is a solid connection. And it can be that you're very, you know, you're very like, I know what I want. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting coming through. It can be that somebody who's directly been dealing with you has been acting a bit differently to what they usually do, and you don't quite know how to take it. You're trying to be upbeat about it, but it feels like you're going in two ways. You're getting triggered, but then you're getting grounded and you're getting very sure about yourself. So you don't know. What I'm hearing is you don't know whether you're coming or going. Generally, you'll find if you're talking directly connected to a twin flame connection, it's a karmic cycle. Now, obviously, if it's dangerous, etc., you can't. But in the karmic cycle within that, while you're purging it, it's very different. It's a cycle that you spiritually grow, they spiritually grow, it evolves. If it doesn't, you walk away, you know, but within that connection, that transforms. It's a transformation. Now, you're going to have gratitude connected to this transformation. Whatever you're working towards, Sagittarius, whatever you're meditating on, and is like whatever you get in a sense of a download of how you are supposed to react to a current 3D situation, your intuition is telling you correctly. Okay? You need to listen to the vibration you're getting. It's very important. I do feel there's messages coming to you. You are following your intuition. I can feel an elderly lady around you guys. Whatever's not making you happy, you're well aware of, okay? You're also well aware of who your enemies are. And you're standing true to yourself. You're very much like, I know who I am. I've been trying to mold myself into what everyone else wants, and I'm not doing that anymore. It's very like, you've kind of been okay with it so far, but now it's like, no, I'm not being anyone I'm not. This is who I am. I don't feel happy with people doing that towards me, and I definitely won't tolerate BS. There's definitely this mood, and the moon is really going to bring it up for you guys. Okay, I'll leave it at that for the fire signs. I'll answer a quick 2 questions, and then I'll go on to what sign do we want next, guys? Any requests? What element? We've got earth, air, water. Earth. Hi, Jerry. Okay, earth it shall be. Now, what was the question connected to narcissism? Yes, I have been very busy. I'm restructuring everything. I have put emergency bookings on the website. And I have reduced the hours as per, you know, so people can actually book, because it was quite wide. And that was so I could keep a hold on the schedule, but I have changed it. It's still a bearable time frame, but there is, make sure you look at the actual, it's in Australian dollars, but I tend to write in their USD, and that's so you guys know how much it is. But there is a conversion calculator on the website, and I generally in the heading do state on a rough level how much in USD it is. So be mindful it's Australian dollars, so don't go on there and go, oh God, because it is very reasonable. I have checked other websites and my prices are extremely reasonable. I have added emergency bookings in there, but at the moment, currently, it is a 9-hour turnaround for time frames of bookings. If you are booking shorter than that, yes, I will do emergency bookings. I had been for 2 years doing them off the bat exactly the same price, but I have changed it now because I have reduced the time frame of which you can actually book. But you've got email, Skype, SMS for Australia, telephone, so video, there's every style of reading you can think of, we have that. So I will leave it at the moment, and I will be back for, we said earth, didn't we? Earth.